Hi everyone, I'm immigration lawyer John Khosravi. Thank you for tuning in to today's live Q&A discussing U.S. immigration law. I'm an immigration attorney. We're going to get into it and kind of just dive in deep and get into different things that are popping up for people going through, getting visas, getting green cards, and all the stuff that's going on during President Trump's administration. That's kind of scary at times. I'm going to give some examples of things I've seen recently that are problematic, and some good stuff too. As you know, there's delays and everything. That's one thing people are very worried about. And so we'll talk about that very briefly. I know timelines are something that's very important to people, but I don't have an exact timelines that could help you. Looking at my video right now, it seems like this a little tall right here. I'll try to fix this up a little bit. But just before we start and everyone's still settling in to ask questions, just remember this is general education information. You'll need to have a private consultation with a lawyer to get specific information for your case, something that makes sense for you after reviewing your documents and your whole situation, because there's a lot that we have to know about before making a final decision about legal guidance. But do my best here to answer the questions that come up and just educate everyone about what's going on in the immigration laws. That's important. So Ramostad, one of a kind, I am Candy. Thank you so much for joining this live Q&A. The Q&A is Monday through Friday, every day, weekday that is, 5 p.m. Pacific. And so I come live on TikTok. Immigration lawyer John is the screen name. John is the John. And then it's going to be all of my other social media. JQK Law Firm is the name on Facebook, on YouTube. We have a lot of videos on YouTube, additional stuff that you won't see here, as well as on Instagram. I'll have copies of my approvals on Instagram, which have timelines too, which will help you. So it's all over the place. Just look up JQK Law Firm, go to the various social media links. You'll learn a lot about the stuff that's going on, the stuff that I'm doing, and it's hopefully things that'll help you in your life and what stuff you're going through. So thank you for joining everyone who's coming in. The group's getting larger and larger. If you're on Facebook as well, feel free to jump in and ask some questions. Getting a phone call, let me shut that off. Okay, so it's getting a little hot. The weather in Los Angeles is heating up again, and it rained a little bit this morning, but under the lights and everything, it gets heat up. Now, before I start, I wanted to mention two pieces of information. One is, employment authorization documents, EADs, what people call work permits. Typically you have to get a fingerprinting appointment done before they issue the work permit or the EAD. I'm doing good, Sangra. But a colleague informed me that they just got a ton of EADs approved. The work permit was sent to their office for their clients, and these clients had not done their fingerprints. So it's very important to know these are cases that had green cards pending, but they couldn't do their fingerprints because the biometrics appointments, the time and location where they do their fingerprints, were shut down. And so because of that, they were not able to go do the fingerprints. Usually that means they're not going to get a work permit. But in this case, the colleague told me they got them approved. So that's good news if you are waiting for a work permit. Not only were they approved without fingerprints, they were approved rather quickly. He said after 2 months of filing. So I think what's happening at the immigration office is because the interviews have been shut down and they can't do the regular process of meeting people, seeing people and talking with them, what they're doing is rearranging the people that work in those positions to come and do other kind of duties. And one of them is apparently EADs happening. Sangras, I did not get a 1200 check. Why? I don't know. That's a very personal question. I need to know about your finances, but it's not something I focus on. So consult with maybe accountant to help you with that. Mid-09 New York City asks, hello, I have a question. How about my I-130 was approved? Where is the question, brother? You got to ask the question in there. If your I-130 is approved, congratulations. You may have to file for adjustment of status or do consular processing. It depends on where the foreign person is and their status. There's a lot more information I need to know about your case to be able to provide guidance on that. And that kind of segues into this issue of having a consultation tomorrow where a person filed their own green card case for their wife to file adjustment of status, a green card application within the United States. When they submitted it, they submitted all the documents except for one key one called Form I-864, Affidavit of Support. This is a document that happens that says, I'm going to support my foreign spouse when they come here. And typically, when people file themselves, a lot of times they forget to file this. Before the Trump administration, what USCIS would do is just send you a notice and say, hey, you forgot this one document, please send it to us now, be fine. Under President Trump, that's gone away with. So if you're missing this document, they immediately deny the case. And if you don't have the underlying status, you don't have some sort of lawful status in the United States, they're going to put you in deportation and removal proceedings with the court to kick you out of the country. So it's like a domino effect of nastiness that happens without much help in the process. So unfortunately, you know, the guy probably did a lot of the right. He could have done the affidavit support if he had just done it himself. He knew he was supposed to do it, but he didn't do the research to do it, what we call pro se on your own. And that has dire consequences now. And for me to come and fix it up with a timeline stuff, like, it makes it much more expensive than it would have been in the first place if you had hired an attorney. So this is kind of mess ups happen a lot. I get these kind of calls a lot. So it's something to be careful for in these kind of cases. Sorry, I had to check on something. So, you know, we had some questions here. Sangrila, I can't answer about, Sangrila, I can't answer about this stimulus check. This is the immigration show, not related to stimulus checks. Okay, I am Candy asks, I know they do random house checks after your spouse arrives, but I haven't heard from anyone. Okay, so when you're doing a marriage-based green card, when you have a spouse and doing it, they have they sometimes will come to your house or check with your neighbors or just park their cars outside your house to see if you're coming and going, who's coming and going, if this is a real relationship, if they see you coming out together, if this is really your address, all that kind of stuff. It's very rarely done. They don't really have the manpower or the funds to do that. In most cases, if properly done, there's no need for them to do that. But if you have a suspicious case, it might happen. So that's a situation when people come visiting the house and stuff like that. It is sometimes random, but a lot of times they have information in their file that they check that gives them a red flag. The government has access to a lot of different information. You might have neighbors that don't like you and might tell them some stuff too. So there's a lot going on, but typically it doesn't happen. Ab Candy, it'll be a year in July. I mean, cases could take a year. I don't know. I have to know your particular case to advise you on that. Shram asks, when are they going to start interviews again? They saying June 4th, but I don't know. It could change. It just depends on the coronavirus, so I don't know. S. Sunny asks, how long the green card takes after they ask for the medical. So when you have a green card case pending, if you did not submit the medical checkup with the initial application, they send you a letter that says, please send us the medical or bring it with you to the interview, something to that end, if they're going to schedule an interview. There's no set timeline as to how long it takes between the time you get the notice for the medical and the interview happens. It could be 1 week, it could be 1 year. There's no set time. You just have to be patient. Mido NYC asks, my case is now at MVC, but my wife's passport is expired. How long do I have to fill up the DSU? You have as long as you want, just if it takes about a year, you have to renew the case. But renew the passport first. You want to have a valid passport, so your wife should renew it before filling the DSU 60, but you got some time. Again, when it comes to the 1 year mark, you want to notify the MVC that you're not abandoning the case if you don't move it forward. Prabha Karam asks, hi sir, I have travel parole document. Is it possible to India and come back US? How many days? If you have what's called advanced parole, I think that's what you're talking about. Yes, you could try traveling and coming back. It's not guaranteed that you could return. I need to know more about your personal background to be able to advise on that. Generally, I ask people not to do that. Travel on advanced parole unless there's an emergency situation. For example, if you've had any arrests or something like that, they're not going to let you back in the country. And it's up to the discretion of the port officer, the CBP officer. So I don't really want to give your life into someone's discretion. Now, how many days could you go? You have a timeline that's limited on your advanced parole document that says how much time it is. So you need to look at the document. It says it right there how that all works. Okay, so SRAS, when are you going to start interviews again? Well, we answered that already. Sada asks, my I-130 not approved, almost 2 years. If you're a green card holder, if you're married to a green card holder, that might be the case. I got to see, Sada, what kind of I-130 you have, so I can't advise until I know what's going on exactly with the case. Jebediah asks, can I move my wife from Latvia to US? She's okay, yeah, there we go. not a bad trolling. Let's see. BM asks, I-485 pending interview. When can I expect EAD? There's no set timeline. It just comes when it comes. USCIS does have some general timelines. If you go to uscis.gov, there'll be a page in there that gives you general timelines. If it's gone longer than it is, you could contact USCIS through their website or by calling them and notifying them that the EAD is taking longer than estimated, and that might, kick it down to come. But when people ask me how long it takes, it's just all over the place. Hopefully it's sooner rather than later. Hardy Pasini asks, are there any chances of rejection for a B1 extension this time? there's always a chance for anything. So, you know, I don't know anything about your case to say whether it's more likely or not, but if there's any chance, I mean, it's you know, come on, I don't know. Sometimes there'll be chances, you know. Invisible Side Gas, is it true that USCIS is going to charge more fees for a green card case? So one thing that's happening with the immigration department, it's a great question, thank you. It's in the news right now, is they don't handle their finances well. In my opinion, they've made a lot of mistakes. They've burned through a lot of money. They're doing things that they shouldn't be doing, so what's wasting money. That's the head of the department is asking USCIS to do things that are not part of their duties, doing work for ICE and getting bonuses. It's ridiculous, the things that are doing and wasting money. And the thing is, their employees not fully getting the money either, so their employees are dissatisfied as well. So I feel bad for the USCIS employees. But what they said is they're going to be increasing the fees to pay for it. Now, one of their charges is that the fees have generally remained the same for a long time, so they have to increase it. But the adjustment of status fees was fairly recently increased. A lot of them were. But the end note of this all is that, yes, there's going to be fee increases related to USCIS forms. So be prepared for that. It's coming. They're saying 10%, but they also had another regulation that came forth that some of these applications were getting much more expensive. So for example, if you're filing for U.S. citizenship, the fee is going to jump up drastically. So if you have a good naturalization case, you should file it now rather than later, because the fees will be increasing pretty drastically. It sucks, so be prepared for that. Okay, thank you. We got a lot of people joining in. Sounds asks, in interview day, start checking the credit report. Is that true or not? So USCIS, after February 24th, is reviewing credit reports. So if you file for an application for adjustment of status, you should have, with the initial application, the Form I-944, a copy of your credit report or a notice that says you don't have a credit report, and maybe get a credit report from your home country. If you do have a credit report, I said that 4 times in a row, if you do have a credit report, you should also have a FICO score. Now, they're not really supposed to go into this if you filed your case, your Form I-485, before February 24th. But if it was after, that should have been included as part of your application. If not, and they still have an appointment to interview to see you, you should have that ready to bring with you. It's going to be important. If your score is lower, that could be a negative factor that could work against you in your green card case. Let's see. User 852 asks, when are they going to work on 221G again? 221G. I think you're talking about administrative processing. There's no timelines. If you're really worried about it's taking too long, then just file a lawsuit. I think what you're talking about is administrative processing. This is when someone goes to an embassy, does an interview, and they say, okay, we have administrative processing. We need to do more work on your case. We'll let you know when it's ready. It's up to them how long they take. There's no deadline. But if you feel like it's taking too long, 6 months or a year, you could potentially file a lawsuit to force them to move the case forward, positive or negative decision, but force them to make a decision. But that's something you have to really analyze with the lawyer to see what's going on with the case, if it's worth doing that or not, the costs and the risks associated with it. But there's no timeline. They could take as long as they want. I've seen cases take 3-4 years at least. I mean, easily. Sunny asks, does owing taxes affect green card file? Green card file itself doesn't, taxes don't affect it. It will affect citizenship. So, and it's a bad moral character issue if you haven't filed taxes when you file for application for citizenship. Owing tax itself is not an issue unless some criminal charges come about it. And once you have criminal charges related to that, it could be problematic. There's also a public charge deportation ground that's rarely used. That may kick in there. Again, this is rare. They don't usually pay attention to it at this point. But when you file for citizenship, it's a problem, and also under President Trump, you never know. So what you should do is work on getting a payment plan with the IRS so you have that set in your payment plan so you don't have to deal with any potential consequences for that. Biz will ask, do you charge a consultation fee for virtual consultations? I do. Please email my office if you want to know how much it is and describe the immigration issue you have. The fee varies depending on how much time and analysis is required per case. Some cases, if you're doing an investor case, it's more expensive. If you're doing a basic case of other kinds, maybe less time, less expensive. So email me at info@jqqlaw.com. Briefly describe the immigration issue that you have so I can have a better idea of what kind of work is needed. And then I'll follow up with you if there's something I handle and how much the initial consultation fee would be. Clamis on Facebook asks, I have a serious issue. Let me see. Keep destroying my property. I can't help you with that. Sorry. Let's see. Raksh asks, hello, sir. Hope you are doing good. What is the approval percentage of getting approved for H-1B? If you go to USCIS.gov, there are statistics there. it doesn't matter what the percentages are. If you have a bad case, you're going to get denied. If you have a really good case, you're going to approve. I don't believe in looking at what percentages are. It's really on a case-by-case basis on what's going on in your case and whether that's an appropriate thing to do for you. Ahmed asks, I lost my H-1B job this month. I'm sorry to hear that. My family-based green card ready for interview. Am I legal to stay? If you had a Form I-485 pending in the United States, then you're a period of authorized stay. Yes, you can stay. But I have to see, I mean, if you have an interview, you probably did. So that'll probably cover you. You have to see exactly what's going on, what the basis of it is. But once you file for an application for adjustment of status, you're in a period of what's called authorized stay, which could be in the United States to obtain your green card. So you don't have to maintain your job, luckily. But as long as you didn't violate the status of something that could break that. So I have to know more about what kind of case you have to be able to advise on that properly. We could have a private consultation to discuss that more. Samra, I don't know about these timelines, but if you want to talk about the more, schedule a consultation in my office. Anthony, thank you for sharing the live. If y'all haven't already on TikTok, go and click on the profile button and follow the page so you can get more announcements when they come up. And also if you click on the link there, it has links to all my social media, website, email, all that kind of stuff, mail list, so you can connect that way and get more updated information about what's going on in immigration law. Rakshi, can you ask your question, Rakshi? Let's see. Kachi Chama Hope Styles, is there a visa for fiance? Yes, it's a very famous visa called the K1 fiance visa. Maybe if you go on TV, there's a show called 90 Day Fiance where people use this. But we need to do analysis of what's appropriate for your case. One of the requirements is that you have met and seen your fiance at least once and documented that you've seen her once, him or her once in the last 2 years, along with other kind of stuff. It's a very long process, a lot of things you have to do, but there's a thing called the K1 fiance visa where you can bring your fiance. You're welcome, Visible. Let's see. Okay, so there's a couple of repeat questions I just skipped over. If you'd like to hear them again, just go to the YouTube video that comes up. It's going to pop up again. The next day or two, I'll be posting it there and you catch up on that. Yeah, the situation is we're still getting approvals. We're still having things move forward. They're being flexible on things that need biometrics and things that need interviews. Sometimes they're approving it without those. So it's a great time. Attorney Abisha, thanks for joining. Another fellow immigration attorney, doing a great job on TikTok, posting a lot of videos. Great job. And so feel free to click on her link to get her information. She does a lot of cutting edge information. I don't do as many 1-minute TikTok things anymore because I'm impatient with it. But I like doing these live kind of stuff. But if you want to get more day-to-day kind of stuff, definitely follow her page. A lot of great information coming. Especially, I think she's a East Coast attorney, which is good for a lot of people who want a local attorney. Might be wrong though. Check with her to make sure I'm talking about the right place. Yeah, so the immigration is still working out. We're still doing cases, consular processing, busier than ever. This is wonderful. I mean, a lot of my colleagues, unfortunately, are struggling right now, but they haven't set up a plan to get out there and help people. And that's another thing I do, helping a lot of lawyers get the word out to let them know that we're doing stuff. You're welcome, Attorney Abhisha. I'm sorry if I pronounced it wrong. So just know there's a lot of stuff going on. A lot of things are moving forward. Don't stall your case. With the way the immigration department is going, they're getting more expensive and they're having more problems and having issues with cases. There's sometimes more delays. Typically there's more delays. Sometimes right now things are getting a little faster, so it's kind of weird. But in general, talk with the lawyer. You don't want to have these mistakes that happen that create big problems. I see it every day. You're welcome, Kazi Habi. You're welcome. And so that's one thing I'm here to at least hear it out. Don't be afraid. One thing that happens with immigration, it's like going to the dentist. And so you might have a problem and you have to deal with it, but going to the dentist sucks because you're going to drill in your teeth and it hurts and it's annoying and it's expensive. I completely understand this stuff. That's why I'm here. At least with less pain and stuff, you can at least hear something to be able to move your case forward. But don't hesitate. At the very least, talk with someone. Sometimes waiting too long creates problems. Like for example, right now, we used to be able to file a marriage green card case really quickly. I could get it wrapped up if my clients had all the paperwork together, and who knows, around 2 weeks, a week, sometimes even 4 or 5 days if they're really efficient. But now that we have Form I-944 there, it's going to take many weeks to months to be able to complete the application because we need so many more documents. We need evaluations of credit reports, evaluations of education, all this kind of crazy stuff, which is annoying, and it takes time to get all this stuff. And so if a deadline's coming, your status is expiring, all this kind of stuff, you're going to be in a big problem. So you want to talk with the immigration lawyer as soon as possible to get the information that you need. Now, Sunny asked, do I have offices in New York? I don't. I only I'm located in Los Angeles, but I take cases from across the country. The cases that I handle pretty much only need me to mail documents to the government. So that's why I take cases from everywhere. We do a virtual consultations, and then I mail everything to the government once things are ready. So I'm not in New York, but if you wanted a New York attorney, email me anyways, and I could try to find a colleague of mine that could help you with that. Alexander asks, what's your status while having a pending AOS, adjustment of status, and how can I renew an ID? So we did talk about this, Alexander, earlier, but I'll repeat it. You don't have any status based on filing an adjustment of status case, but you are in a period of authorized stay, which means you're not accumulating what's called unauthorized dates, or unlawful presence days, that's the word. And you can stay here until a decision is made. Now, I say you can stay here. ICE has full authority to knock at your door and take you and put you in immigration detention and send you to court if they wanted to. But if you have a valid case, this is rarely done because it's a waste of their resources, and so that doesn't happen. But yeah, again, no, your period of authorized stay, no status unless you had an underlying, if you had an underlying status. So for example, you're on a student visa and you file for adjustment of status, you have that student visa status based on that unless you violate it in some way. Attorney Abisha, thank you for making it all useful information. You're welcome. You're welcome. Thank you so much, Attorney Abisha. I appreciate that. And you as well. You've done some great work. I hope you just keep growing and do continue helping everybody in the TikTok community. TikTok is such a wonderful place. I mean, my wife doesn't have TikTok, but she has Instagram, and she'll be watching her Instagram, and all of a sudden I'll hear all the songs and stuff we hear on TikTok, and I'm like, wait, are you on TikTok? She's like, no, it's Instagram. And I realize TikTok is taking over Instagram. It's kind of crazy how successful they've been. Ahmad asks, I lost my H-1B job. How to expedite a marriage-based EAD? You have to contact USCIS and make a request, or as well as contact your congressperson, their methods for that. But before doing that, I'd want to review your case to see what you're going to tell them about your financial background and the like. So I need to know more, but I've done that frequently. We request an EAD expedited, and then if need be, contact a congressperson. But I need to know more information. But a simple phone call could do it to USCIS as well. David asks, I'm from Philadelphia. My case is pending. I-485 pending interview. Oh, that's good. Thanks for joining. Hopefully your interview gets set up soon and you can take care of that. If you have a specific question, let me know. But that's that. Yeah, this question is popping up a lot, so I'll talk about it again with the pending status. So it's not there. You don't have status when you have a green card case pending. It just means you're here, you're waiting for a decision, and they're probably not going to hassle you. Very rare. Tracy asks, so are they still doing overseas visa interview to Mexico? Right now, the embassies are shut down. No interviews happening. And Mexico is already horrible because if embassies were open, Mexico is backed up 6 months, a year until you get your interview. And now it's just going to be even more ridiculous and longer. But that's the situation that you have to unfortunately go through if you need to do it. So it's right now all embassies are closed. We'll see what happens with them reopening and stuff. We don't know, but we're just going to do that. USCIS said I think they're going to open June 4th. We'll see what happens. And the thing is, you'll get a notice in the mail if you get an appointment, so you'll know when you know. Riza asks, can an H-4 visa holder work in USA without EAD? No. An H-4 is a person that's a spouse of an H-1B holder, specialized knowledge employee. And the spouse comes here on an H-4. For them to be able to work lawfully, they need to have an employment authorization document, EAD, or work permit. If you work without one, you're violating your status, and it could lead to deportation. You're welcome, Tracy. Thank you. Thanks so much. Thank you for joining in. Keep the group large and the questions coming. I love it. We have about 5 or so minutes left, so if you have some last questions, let me know. We'll get into that. If not, I'll be back here tomorrow, 5 p.m. Pacific, right here on TikTok. Immigration Lawyer John, John. Then on YouTube, you'll see the video recaps live on Facebook as well. Though primarily it's just TikTok. And then all my links are above in my profile page as well for you guys to get to. You're welcome, Riza. So yeah, it's interesting, this EAD situation, you have to get employment authorization. If you're ever going to work in the United States, you have to have an underlying visa or employment authorization to work. There's going to be violations without that. Now sometimes they let the violations go depending on the case, but it's rare. Alexander asks, would calling the USCIS to ask for EAD status help? It's been 4 months pending AOS marriage. No, calling and asking for status doesn't make any difference. You go on the website and do that. If you want to call, you can make an expedite request if you have a good reason for expedite and see if they approve it. If not, try to contact the congressperson and explain why you have need for it. But it's a case-by-case basis. I need to know the reason for it and your total financial picture with your spouse and what's going on. So there's a lot of things you have to go. Sunny asks, I got an EAD from a different case, but now I filed green card from my new case. Does it affect my file? there's some nuances to that I don't want to talk here because it's too complicated. But if you use the other EAD, maybe it invalidates the other case or your underlying status. There's enough complexity there. I don't want to publicly talk about it without reviewing it with you privately to go through it. African Aviator asks, my wife's case is DQ at NBC and I became U.S. citizen. Can my daughter new application be expedited? My D is okay. So it's hard to expedite on an immigrant visa case when the embassies are shut down. You have to have a good reason, maybe. There's a lot going on there, Aviator. Please schedule a consultation to see what's going on. But you can notify the embassy that you are a citizen case now. It probably won't make that much of a difference, but you should notify them, copy of your naturalization certificate, send that to them so they know and could change the category that the case will be in. But with regard to your daughter and stuff, we'd have to sit and talk about it, see what's going on. I want to provide good advice. It'd be too scattered here without knowing the facts of your case. Ratatouille, welcome. Thanks for joining. Paulug, thanks for joining. So yeah, if anyone's not from the United States joining, please let me know. I'm interested to see how far the reach of this is. Is it just people in the US, or if you're outside, let me know what country you're joining from. It'll be interesting to see how far this video is getting. So yeah, we've only got a couple more minutes left. Any last question, let me know. But yeah, all these cases are working. Sometimes you can request an expedite while your case is pending. Usually you can stay here, like when you do change of status, for example, extension of status. But it depends. Like if you're doing a change of status from a student visa to, from a tourist visa to a student visa, you have to keep some underlying status going, or a separate extension of tourist visa status going. So the F1, when it's approved, you'll still be in status. It's kind of complicated what I said. It's a really annoying issue that USCIS has with change of status to student visas. But it just shows like every case is so different, every category is so different. It's a big headache. Okay, so Riza asks, how long does it take when your green card processing is a stage 1 during pandemic? I don't know. I mean, there's no how long. It happens when it happens. Tracy asks, my sister-in-law is currently in Mexico and recently adopted her nephew. Does he become a citizen? Probably not. But we have to see what's going on with the case and how the adoption happened. Sometimes people say I adopted someone, but they didn't do the paperwork properly. And it depends on a lot of different factors. So that you need an immigration attorney that has experience with adoption to see what's going on there. Maybe if they're fully adopted proper way, they can file an I-130 for them. And then once they enter the United States, automatically become citizens. There are different ways that this works out. But that requires a consultation. African Aviator, if you go to my profile page on what's it called, TikTok, there's a link there that has all my contact, my social media website. My website is jqqlaw.com, but I would say go to that link I just added. It's a link tree. It has a bunch of different links for everything that you need to know about me or want to know about me, my reviews, all this kind of stuff as well. That'll give you the guidance you need to be able to set something up. All right, we got a last minute left. If you have some last questions, let me know. I enjoyed this round. It was pretty fun. Ratatouille asks, I have a pending asylum case from 2 months, but still no fingerprints, no interview. This normal? Yeah, they shut down the interview, the fingerprints, so that's normal. Asylum cases sometimes take many years. So if you have a lawyer, talk with them. But 2 months, you got to be patient. Yes, it could be much longer. You're welcome, Tracy. Okay, in Facebook we have, we're in northern San Francisco. Are you at this office around here? Ismail, I do handle cases in San Francisco. I sometimes come out there if the case is complex enough to meet in person. But in this kind of case, I handle San Jose, San Francisco cases all the time. What I do is we just have a video consultation, and then we can mail each other documents, email kind of stuff, and get it going. It depends on what kind of case you have. If you have a court case, I don't handle court cases. But if it's a a USCIS kind of case where you're submitting documents and stuff, I can handle that case no problem. Just email me and describe the immigration issue that you have, so we could take it from there and set up the initial video consultation. My email is info@jqqlaw.com. And with that, we're going to wrap it up for today. It was a great pleasure talking with you all, trying to help out. I wish you all the best for today, and hopefully see you tomorrow. Again, 5 p.m. Pacific on Immigration John's TikTok page, or on Facebook is JQK Law Firm, and the rest you can see on my social media links. The videos will be there, as long as clips and approval notices and all that kind of stuff, reviews, blah, blah, blah. Alexander, final question. How long does it usually take after a case is ready to be scheduled for interview? Nobody knows. There's no how long it takes, so just whenever they're ready. And same with pretty much every other question you have about time. Whenever they're ready, that'll be the time. You can try visiting uscis.gov for getting general case status questions and case timelines. They're very unreliable, but that may answer the question better than I can. That's about it. I hope everyone has a great one. God bless and be safe. Bye-bye.